101.9 FM, and we trust that with the offerings that we make every day, that it justly rewards that loyalty. So, as I always tell you, wherever you're taking us in, if it is that you are sitting around your kitchen table having your breakfast, your morning coffee, well, breakfast is, well, if you're a late riser, you'll probably still be having breakfast. But let me say good morning to Mr. and Mrs. Giuseppe. Also, good morning to Mr. and Mrs. Regis, to my colleague Sharon and Bruce. If you are making your way from the market to the market, the grocery, wherever else, you're in your car, sitting in your hammock, wherever it is that you're taking us in, good morning. Good morning to all of the folks who are taking us in on the social media platforms. I usually forget to make mention to you guys. You all are also integral to the success of the many programs that we offer here. So all of the folks who may be taking us in on YouTube, as well as the folks who are taking us in on Facebook. I believe the YouTube is, I think the Iwer TV stream is back up. So join us on Facebook and YouTube as well. Let me also say good morning to Miss Lucille Charles Ford out there in Shogunas, another one of our loyal listeners. Also to Marva James, as well as to, I think it's Melka, I can't remember the last name, so forgive me, but good morning to all of you. Right, so it was my intention to continue my discussion this week on a little bit on the NIS, which I'm almost done wrapping up, as well as on the wider topic of pension reform and retirement planning. But my guest that I was hoping to have this morning, unfortunately, had an emergency and would not be able to make it this morning, so we are postponing to next week. Right, so I will just suspend that conversation just for today, and then next week we will continue on that point. So, but there was another topic that I wanted to touch on. So today is the 8th of August, 2021. We're just 2 days away from the one-year anniversary of the 2020 general election, which the People's National Movement would have won, giving them a second consecutive term in office. And, as is to be expected, the media intends to place the spotlight on this one-year anniversary, so that I see today in some of the daily news publications, as is to be expected and as is the norm, members of the media have contacted the usual suspects to get their take on or their view or their assessment of the one-year anniversary of the PNM's second term in office. Now, we recall the previous administration, had they won the election last year, quite possibly today would have been some level of low-key, perhaps, celebration, because as you know, from 2010 to 2015, on the 24th of May, every year was a celebration of that victory, which tells me that it was a celebration of never see, come see. We weren't really, we weren't really expecting to win, but we win. So every year we're going to have this big celebration. Only government that I could recall, or as far as I know of, that has done that every year, seen it fit to spend money. Where the money came from, we don't know, but to celebrate an election victory. But that is not the case with this administration. Winning elections is nothing strange, is nothing new, it's nothing out of the norm for the People's National Movement, and therefore there is no big celebration planned for Tuesday. But in reading some of the assessments of some of the usual suspects, Reginald Dumas, Winsford James, Hamid Ghani, and all of these folks, some have given the government a B-, some gave them a B+, some gave them 7 out of 10 for different aspects of their management of the country, the economy, and so on over the last year. And I want to commend some of these persons, these men and women of letters, who I was a bit surprised in their fairness in terms of their commentary and their assessment, acknowledging the fact that the government has not had it easy for the past 12 months with COVID and the financial challenges that the country has faced. Notwithstanding that, the government has still been able to hold things together. there are those who will disagree, who will say that they've done a terrible job and not, usual, Rowley must go. I think, was it Winsford James whose assessment was that Dr. Rowley's personality is very off-putting for a lot of people. I don't see why that needed to come in there in terms of the overall management of the economy. But anyway, one of the issues, however, that they did, that most of them were in unison with respect to their commendation of the government, has been the attempts by the state, by the government, to provide for those persons who have been negatively impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. Persons who would have lost their jobs and who would have been on the breadline and would have had difficulties in providing for their families. And some of the things, the initiatives that the government would have undertaken to assist such persons, which would include the salary relief grant, the income support grant, as well as the food hampers, the food boxes that they have provided for such persons. There have been some glitches with respect to the rollout of the grants, and there was a clip that I wanted to play with a lady who currently resides in the United States, who was very critical of the government with respect to the rollout of the grants, and asking where the money gone, where the money for the grants, and I'll probably deal with that during the week. But as I would recall, I would have seen just a couple of weeks ago, the Ministry of Social Development put out an exhaustive list on the newspaper with a number of names of persons who would have applied for these grants, persons for whom checks would have been made out and these checks were never collected, and now these checks are about to be stale dated because it's been 6 months since they would have been issued. I would hope that some of the persons to whom these checks belong would have seen their names in the newspapers, that it would have been brought to their attention, and that they would have gone and collected their checks so that they could avail themselves of the money. And the government should be commended that, notwithstanding the fact that last year the economy was reopened partially, and a lot of people who would have applied for these grants would have gone back out to work, that the government didn't say, well, here what, they gone back out to work, so there's no need to give them the money. That they would have still honored it for a lot of these people. I know quite a few of them personally who would have gone back out to work and subsequently would have received their $4,500 in their bank accounts, and they were very happy and pleased with the government for that. But I just want to revisit something quickly that I would have touched on Thursday, and that has to do with the goodly Senator Anil Roberts taking the Minister of Agriculture to task over a statement that the government is inclined to continue the distribution of the food boxes even after COVID would have subsided, right? And apparently, the goodly senator has an issue with that because he thinks that that is purely politics, that the government is trying to curry favor with people and to get votes. Next year, of course, being a local government election. And forget all of the positives that could come out of that. His focus is that the government or the minister is playing politics with food, playing politics with feeding people, because they wish to continue a program that has been very successful, that a lot of people, thousands of families have benefited from. And they have an issue with this being continued after the main purpose or the main reason for which it was started, which is COVID. Now, these are the same people who prior to COVID and for the last 6 years have been telling us that this government does nothing for poor people, that they only suffer in poor people, and they only study in the 1% and the big boys, giving them contracts and so on, and nothing for poor people. Here it is that you have a program that is benefiting poor people, quote unquote, and you are of the view that it should be discontinued because it's to continue it beyond the original reason for which it started, in your mind, in your view, is politics. So apparently, if you give the people these food boxes, when they've returned to work, the economy has reopened and so on, that when they eat in the food, that somehow they're going to be tasting balize. I don't know. So the yam will taste like balize, the plantain, the okras, the chickens, whatever it is in the basket will only be tasting like balize. Or if it is that you eat this food after COVID has lifted or subsided, that you obviously, that somehow it's going to turn you into a PNM supporter. For those of you who may not have heard it, let me just replay it for you quickly, right? Let me just, and also Central would have called in because I challenged him to defend what I consider to be the indefensible. And as is normally the norm, when you can't defend the indefensible, what do? You support it, even though that support makes you sound and look like an ASS. But they have no problems with that. But let me just play it again for those who may not have heard it. All right, give me 1 sec. I don't know why I'm not hearing this. Let me see. Let me try this again. Try something else.
Put in PNM KFC man to transport food so that only PNM people could get food. Think about how sick you have to be to play politics with food. You see Clarence? You classless. Look at this clown, Clarence. Clarence, you look like you should have been a Bugs Bunny cartoon. You clown. And like you put on makeup too. Eh? What it is with all your PNM man and his makeup? All you went by booted for what? To learn how to put on mascara and makeup, Clarence? Let me tell you something, Clarence. When you have to resort to playing politics with food, you are the scum of the earth. You are a useless individual. Hungry people is hungry people. You ever think Kamala Prasad, Mr. Anil, anybody, Jakwana, Munilal, UNC, ever study to take away food from poor people to play who is PNM and who is UNC with hunger, with hungry children, with poor people, Clarence? Check what them come to do now. Food boxes to continue after COVID-19. Because Clarence politics is, we find something, boy. Oh Lord. Yes, the people hungry. We is the worst government in the world. We suffer them under COVID chaos. But hey boy, you know how we could play some nasty gutter level, disgusting, inhumane politics? Yeah boy, we could play it with food, boy. Yeah, so they had to come by we to get food, boy. Clarence, shame on you, you disgusting disgrace of a human being. Food boxes to continue after COVID-19. What began as an initiative to provide healthy food to vulnerable families during the COVID-19 pandemic could become a permanent part of relief offered to the people in need. Clarence, let me tell you something. God don't sleep, and they will have a special place for all you. All you can't give the people no service, nothing, everything failing. Now all you're going to the lowest common denominator to play politics with food, Clarence. Clarence! I'm going to deal with you more as the time go on, boy. But all you're really overdoing this thing now. Hungry people. You feel anybody care who is a UNC, a PNM, a independent, a PDP, a new soya fat? Hungry people, boy.
Right, so that was the goodly Senator Anil Roberts. You heard him there, taking issue with a statement by the Minister of Agriculture that we want to continue the food boxes even after COVID. You have a problem with that? So we have a special place in hell for the Minister for providing food for the needy. So as if when COVID done, so too will hunger. So all the people who so there'll be no poor people after COVID. So there was poor people before, but there will be no poor people after who depend on or who would benefit from this. But aside from the persons who would be receiving these food boxes directly, we look at all the other persons who are inclined to benefit. So there's the farmers who would have a guaranteed market for their produce. There are those persons who would be employed at NAMDEVCO putting together these food boxes and so on. There would be the persons who would be employed in transporting the food boxes to the various offices of the different MPs, right? Because it's not just PNM MPs going to be getting this. Contrary to what nonsense this clown just talk about there, that the government, they find something that they could do, that they could use. So if it is that we giving out food, they'll have to come to us. If the food boxes are being sent to UNC MPs, all 19 of them, they would be responsible for giving out to whoever they choose. So if they want to give it to UNC people only, no problem with that. But as I said on Thursday, if it is you all don't want it because you figure it's playing politics, well, just tell the government up front we don't want it because we consider it politics, so keep it. And that way, if the government chooses then to give it to PNM activists in the UNC control constituencies to give it out, you all can't have no problem because we offered it to you, you said you didn't want it because you feel we're playing politics. Now, what I found to be interesting, however, was the fact that the only issue that Mr. Roberts could find with that project or that program is he deems it to be plain politics. He didn't say that it's corrupt. He didn't say that it's a waste of money. No allegations of corruption, mismanagement, fraud, graft, nepotism, cronyism, nothing of the sort. His only problem with it is that he deems it to be plain politics. Why? Because the persons who would be the primary beneficiaries from this program, well, at least from the farmers' side, more than likely persons who would usually support and vote for the UNC. Because a lot of the farmers in this country are based in UNC constituencies and most of them are inclined to vote for the UNC. So if it is that we provide them with the government, PNM government is providing them with a stable market for their produce, such that they don't have to worry about, should I plant this much, boy? Because if I take it to the market and I don't get it sold, then it's going to waste. But if it is that whatever amount I produce, the government is going to take to give out, then I'm certain I'm going to sell what I have, and there is some level of predictability in terms of income, which is something that they didn't get from the United National Congress. So of course they would have a problem with that, right? Because there's nothing else to criticize the program about. But let me remind you all of the UNC's version of this program. And I hope Central listening, because Central's argument was that everything the PNM put their hand to is politics. He didn't say everything they put their hand to is corruption, thievery, graft, you name it. He didn't say that. It's just corruption. The UNC's version of this program, as you all may recall, was something called Carony Green. Yeah. Carony Green. And while they cannot ascribe anything untoward with respect to what is currently taking place under the PNM, the same cannot be said for this Carony Green program. And the Carony Green project was launched on June 5th, 2013 by then Food Production Minister Devant Maraj, and it was proposed to Cabinet as an agricultural development plan to cultivate 5,800 acres of vegetables and root crops in 3 phases over a 2-year period. It was designed to help reduce the food import bill, decrease food inflation, and allow former workers of Carony 1975 Limited to cultivate their unutilized 2-acre plots in exchange for guaranteed payments and earnings. At that time, Cabinet appointed Carony 1975 Limited as the project manager for the Carony Green Initiative and agreed that the Agricultural Development Bank would finance the cultivation of lands by way of a $4 million loan. Carony 1975 Limited invested $5.182 million of its resources into Carony Green over the period March 2013 to January 2014, less than a year. After 6 months, just 6 months in operation, the Carony Green Initiative was scrapped, and the ministry in December of 2013 took the decision to establish the Carony Green Limited, a state company chaired by Nigel Grimes to manage the controversial project, with the government pumping $22 million into the new initiative. But after facing a barrage of complaints from farmers who were supposed to be the main beneficiaries of this program, they had to launch an audit, right? And the audit was leaked to the Sunday Guardian 1 week after when this administration came into office. They released that audit, or the results of that audit, right? Central, I hope you're listening. The audit report dated June 27, 2014 revealed a string of problems with the project. No such problems here. Everything working good. Now they had to create a separate state company to do what this administration is doing with an existing company, which existed when they came into office. Namdevco was around back then, but they created a separate company to do what is currently being done by Namdevco. So it just goes to show you, waste of resources, waste of funds. So how is it that the PNM could do it with an existing state company, but they had to create a separate one? I continue. The audit report dated June 27, 2014 revealed, and this was a report and audit that was commissioned by Devant Maraj after getting complaints from a number of farmers and so on, right? It revealed a string of problems with the project ranging from no accountability, conflict of interest, which entailed a certain manager supplying computers and software to his employers, discrepancies with contracts, spoilage of crops, duplication of work, inaccurate yield and sales recorded, crops given away and sometimes sold to individuals as opposed to institutional buyers, cash received and deposited but not accurately verified, poor land preparation, farmers abandoning their fields, and payment vouchers not being approved and signed by the authorized person for the disbursement of cash. Another major factor that prevented the project from becoming viable was an inexperienced team, a skeletal staff, and staff not following proper policies and procedures. The audit went on to say, due to the low level of control consciousness, accountability is almost non-existent with the Caroni Green Initiative. From process owners to management personnel, there was no action taken in instances of non-conformance to expected procedure. Additionally, untimely and inaccurate information and poor communication are the major contributing factors to the areas of weakness identified, the audit stated. The project was managed by Diosaran Jagru, former CEO of Caroni 1975 Limited, while Kevin Singh was the CEO and Chief Financial Officer. It was revealed that the project's expenditure as of January 31st, 2014 was $9,182,741.07, while actual sales were tabulated at $1,797,944.47. Of the $9 million spent, $4.178 million was injected into land preparation, $1.565 for chemicals, $934,154 for seedlings, and $2.428 million for administrative expenses. The farmers, however, were the least to benefit, with total payments being made to them of just $76,693. Let me repeat that figure. The farmers were the least to benefit, with payments being made to them of just $76,693 out of a budget of $9.182 million. All of this occurred while piles of harvested crops were left to rot in fields and the consumers never benefited from lower food prices. Due to the urgency to begin the project, Ernst & Young stated a number of issues arose as CGI, Caroni Green Initiative, did not have time to develop strategic plans, which led to ineffective decision-making. The audit showed that 7 farmers abandoned their fields because Caroni Green Initiative did not provide proper land preparation, resulting in poor yields. But they spent $4 million for land preparation, and here it is that we are being told that they did not provide proper land preparation, resulting in 7 farmers abandoning their fields. The accounting firm stated that a repayment strategy or penalty for farmers was not outlined in the farmers' contracts. It is unclear whether Caroni Green could be successful in getting farmers to accept responsibility for the abandonment of their crops. Caroni Green had engaged 23 farmers to develop 57 fields with 20 types of crops. As of March 2014, 7 farmers had abandoned 9 fields comprising of 111 acres. It also showed that one contract issued to a farmer was different from the standard contract used to engage other farmers. The report showed discrepancies with contracts involving 4 farmers. In several instances, the report stated that the information was not provided for assessment of farmers by Caroni Green, while there were no standard documents used to record the yield or sales of crops from August to mid-October 2013. It was noted that Caroni Green did not have proper storage facilities, which contributed to regular spoilage of produce. Goods that were not sold were stored in an outdoor shed, which had no cold storage facility. The report showed photographs of several heaps of rotted melangen discarded in a field. The lack of planning and scheduling, coupled with inadequate storage facility, resulted in losses for Caroni Green and the farmer, the report stated. In a bid to get harvested crops off their hands, Caroni Green gave credit to wholesalers and farmers, sold the goods below the contract price and gave away to individuals. Caroni Green did not have the capability to take the produce to market or sell on the field. They were ill prepared to undertake the marketing and sale of produce. While Ernst & Young noted that the responsibility for following up on payment from creditors was not delegated to a specific person, the Caroni Green manager stated that legal action was being taken against farmers who owed them large sums of money for produce. So you all paying money to farmers who weren't delivering, okay? Ernst & Young also stated that they could not confirm that all cash received on the field was submitted to the administrative assistant, while receipt books were not restricted to authorized personnel and payment vouchers completed for the disbursement of cash were not consistently approved or supported. It was also discovered that there were 12 payment vouchers numbers missing from sequence. We continue. The audit revealed that Caroni Green laid no emphasis on accountability, and there was a lack of documented policies and procedures and inadequate guidance. In conclusion, Ernst & Young recommended that Caroni Green develop an organizational structure to be approved by a board of directors, farmers, contracts be reviewed and amended, harvesting and cash processes be reviewed, adequate storage facilities to be developed, and an accounting system to track operational activities be implemented. Admitting that there were inconsistencies with the project, former Food Production Minister Devant Murad said if the ministry wanted to undertake another audit, it would be done at taxpayers' expense. The audit, he said, was commissioned by me based on complaints that I got from farmers, and I was displeased with the implementation of the project. Murad said of the 22 million received, CG received, 14 million was still in coffers when he left office. Right, let me go on. Where else? Right. So, there was another issue with a manager in charge of the project accused of selling computers to the company and so on. But, right. So, this Caroni Green initiative, this Caroni Green Limited, which is sort of parallel to what is currently taking place, as you can see, was riddled with corruption, mismanagement, wastage, you name it. But Anil Roberts didn't have a problem with that program continuing, and I suppose Central didn't have a problem with that program continuing either. No, of course not. But with a program that providing employment, not just for the farmers, but the people who will put together all of the packages and so on, providing food for poor people who you all always complaining about people suffering. They have no money to pay their bills, no money to buy food. You find that the program shouldn't continue because it's politics. Well, the president of the All Trinidad Workers Union, which was formerly the All Trinidad Sugar and General Workers Union, Nirvan Maharaj, as the guy who evicted the UNC from Rienzi Complex, and I think he put out Pandey too, he also had issues with the Caroni Green program. Let me give you some of the issues that he had. Issues that he raised with the then government, which they did not address. So in 2013, 2014, thereabouts, he put out a press release indicating the union's concerns over this whole Caroni Green. Right. Let me get it here. So he made a list of allegations that he wanted the government to address with respect to Caroni Green. One of which is the allegation that after failing miserably to adequately deal with the provisions of the VSEP package in regard to land distribution, that the past CEO of Caroni was about to be dismissed for misconduct and instead was made the CEO of Caroni Green Initiative. So a man who was about to be dismissed for misconduct, they took him from one entity and put him in another one to run the Caroni Green Initiative. Okay. And then anyway. The allegation that the former CEO of Caroni failed to give out leases that were being prepared deliberately so in a bid to frustrate and thereby force ex-Caroni workers to give up their lands to the Caroni Green Initiative. The allegation that ex-Caroni workers were threatened that if they were unable to plant their land within a particular time frame, the state would seize and reclaim the land, thus forcing them to rent their land to the state through the Caroni Green Initiative. The allegation that the personal assistant to a minister of government with a failed or almost non-existent track record in agriculture acquired 8 acres of Caroni land through the Caroni Green Initiative. The allegation that several contract farmers under the Caroni Green Initiative are also advisors to a particular government minister. The allegation that without advertisement or criteria, certain individuals have received over 100 acres of Caroni lands each through the Caroni Green Initiative while already having access to hundreds of acres of Caroni land. The allegation that the government through Caroni 1975 Limited and now the new company is funding Caroni Green as a private enterprise project and paying salaries ranging from $8,000 to $15,000 per month, cost of motor vehicles and other miscellaneous expenses for the Caroni Green Initiative. The allegation that several individuals who are employed by Caroni 1975 Limited are being paid to work on a daily basis cultivating for the Caroni Green Initiative. The allegation that the ADB's $50,000 unsecured loan afforded to small farmers and ex-Caroni workers for the development of their plots have been unceremoniously stopped while big contract farmers under the Caroni Green Initiative will be financed by the ADB. The allegation that the government is owing one big farmer who is currently occupying 125 acres of Caroni land over $1 million for tractor work done in the Caroni Green Initiative, while the family of this individual has also acquired huge amounts of Caroni land through the Caroni Green Initiative. The allegation that Namdevco has been mandated to purchase all of the produce of the Caroni Green Initiative and sell this produce beneath the cost price if necessary in order to show the project working, even if this meant underselling and destroying the livelihood of the farmers. The allegation that under Caroni Green Initiative, 500,000 pounds of sweet potato was bought from a contract farmer and simply stored at a Piaco packing house, while several UE graduates were paid $5,000 per month to peel this produce. The allegations that hundreds of thousands of dollars in chemicals are purchased every month for a Caroni Green Initiative, which was supposed to be organically produced crops. The question must be answered: how much money has been spent by the state on the Caroni Green Initiative in terms of labor, seedlings, planting material, chemicals, fencing, drainage? We are calling on the Prime Minister to address the fears of the small farmers and ex-Caroni workers who are seeing their livelihood eroded by decisions and policies designed to benefit a select few. Anyway, I wonder if there was a 1% now. Anyway. We are calling on the Prime Minister to immediately put a stop to the Caroni Green Initiative project until a proper investigation is completed, all allegations of impropriety, nepotism and corruption is checked, and the initiative is working to the benefit of the ex-Caroni worker. We are calling on the Prime Minister to do what is right and just and what is fair for ex-Caroni workers. I am appealing to the government not to forget those upon whose backs you would have stood on to be propelled into power. The worst sin is ingratitude, and the worst ingratitude is the betrayal of the ex-Caroni workers, those who would have supported you and fought with you and pounded the streets with you, those who formed the backbone of the government. These are the people who expected you to seek their interest, and they are still waiting and begging and pleading to get what is legally due to them. We are saying to the government, do not allow yourself to be accused of reverse discrimination. Help these ex-Caroni workers and their families now. Yours sincerely, Nirvan Maharaj, President General of the All Trinidad Sugar and General Workers Union. That was the UNC's version of what the government is doing today. Difference, what the PNM government is doing. No claims of fraud, corruption, mismanagement, nepotism, cronyism. The only complaint the UNC have with that project is what? That it's political. That the government is using these food boxes to what? Buy votes? To buy UNC votes? So we're trying to say UNC votes real cheap then. All you need is a $500 food box and you could get a UNC supporter to vote for the PNM? Really? Tupel? You really expect us to believe that, Central? But you all know, of course, the farmers. Well, that's probably a different story. Because you all tried it. It didn't work for them under the UNC, but it's working for them under the PNM. And we know there are those who will continue to be ungrateful because they are UNC hardcore to their heart and they don't care what the PNM do for them. They will never vote for PNM. So I don't understand what's your concern. The government is doing what the people want. Provide for the people. You all always complaining. They ain't doing nothing for the small man. They ain't doing nothing for poor people. And the fact of the matter is that as little as you may think it is still going to benefit a number of households. even after some of the persons in these households will start back to work and are generating an income. But that $450 or that $500 value of this particular food box, certainly that's $500 less that they would have to spend every month on food. And that $500 could now go to something else, to pay some other bill or do some other thing to improve the standard of living for these families. You're all complaining now that the cost of food going up. That's true, but it's not Trinidad alone. It's worldwide. Just look at MSNBC, look at CNN, Fox News, and you will see it all over, especially in the United States. You're seeing complaints where the price of food going up, the price of fuel going up, price of everything is going up. So we are not alone in that. And here it is that the government of Trinidad and Tobago is saying, look, we want to continue this. It's working well, and we see that there are myriad of benefits for different people, and it is something erstwhile that we think we should continue. And the UNC have a problem with that. And the supporters will support that foolishness. The ads are coming up. We'll be right back. Stay locked.
Sign up and save with Green Dot. When you subscribe to any of our broadband packages, you get 30% off the installation fee, allowing you to stream your favorite shows on any of your devices. Update your social media accounts and connect with friends and family. Stay on top of the class with online learning sessions, or keep your team in the loop with virtual meetings, all at an affordable price. This is a limited time offer, so don't wait. Call 224-GDOT today to sign up and save with Green Dot, improving and simplifying lives.
If you believe in the power of soca music, I want you to sing this with me. Sing. La 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 la. Life today, fun like yesterday. Friendship gone. Hate and scorn. Never living like stranger. We never. No love, sir. For one another. So young people, that's when I create a song. I hope it lives on from generation to generation. If you love soca music, singing oh. Shanti oh, Shanti, Shanti oh. Gotta sing this part, you know I don't know this part. I don't know this part. Burn up my da, burn up my da, burn up my da, just sing it oh, Shanti oh, Shanti, Shanti oh. Burn up my da, burn up my da, burn up my da, say what she ate oh. Shanti oh, Shanti, Shanti oh, Shanti, Shanti. La 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 la. All you need to sing in Queen's all I know. Sing. The people at home. I'll bring you back later, darling. Thank you. I find people like they forget how to get on for carnival, boy. Oh, let me dance and we see something. Hey, you people know what to oh my God. I'm gonna leave you. I'm gonna leave you. I'm gonna leave me. Oh, hey, hey, I think I will mighty people in a while. Oh, gee, where you get that sugar? Darling, there is nothing sweeter. You make me scream, you make me bawl, you make me feel like 10 feet tall. Start to sing, sugar, boom, sugar.
my version of Sugar Boom Boom, right? Audrey, I am very saddened. This year I can't get no loving. Up on the line, it's where you have to line. If you have to whine, I can jam you in real life. I'm Mr. Sugar Boom Boom. A sugar boom boom. A sugar boom boom. I want to sing this with me. Say give me the boom boom Audrey. Say give me the. Say give me the. Say give me the. Boys, say give me the boom boom oh, yeah.
Simpsons Memorial Limited, number 63 Eastern Main Road, Laventille. Internationally accredited funeral directors and embalmers. A full-service funeral home serving families of Trinidad and Tobago and internationally since 1945. At Simpsons Memorial Limited, we serve with dignity in assisting families and honoring the memory of their loved ones. Our services include professional funeral and pre-planning, burials and cremation, custom-built and imported caskets, coffins and cremation trays, cemetery management, limousines, mourners cars, grief counseling, web streaming of funerals, fully air-conditioned chapel with live musical accompaniment, full global shipping and receiving of loved ones. We specialize in facial restorations. Call us anytime, day or night, at 623-8688. That number again is 623-8688. Simpsons Memorial Limited. Superior service, always with excellence.
Take me to the king. I don't have much to bring.
Tune in to the Street 919 FM every Friday from 9:15 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. with Kingdom Health Services, situated at number 91 Eastern Main Road in St. Augustine. For the program, Health and Healing, merging the old with the new with Brent Diet. For more information, call 318-7471 or 484-0141 or 360-4100. It's all about Kingdom Health Services on the Street 919 FM.
Extra Foods Plenty for 20 is back with a bang with great deals just for you. Top Shelf Ramen 9 for $20. Fruta Juices 8 for $20. Best Tomato Ketchup 4 for $20. Holiday Chips 8 for $20. Happy Pasta Cuts 5 for $20. Roughed Up Biscuits 6 for $20. Chef Made Vinegar 5 for $20 and Pear Jack's Twist Cap 5 for $20. So many great Plenty for 20 specials, and sale runs for 12 days only. July 29th to August 9th. Extra Foods, always extra for less.
At Health and Wealth Lifestyle, we offer a wide range of services: blood analysis, iridology, acupuncture, foot detox, foot massages, gua sha, hot stone therapy, fire therapy, legs and feet massage therapy, mineral scrubs, acrotherapy, cupping.
We also have a wide variety of supplements: silver, zinc and magnesium, body light, and lots more.
We at Health and Wealth Lifestyle operate our business in a clean, safe, and comfortable environment. We frequently sanitize our compound and abide by all the COVID guidelines that are currently in place.
So come on down to Health and Wealth Lifestyle, where we treat you like family. Book your appointment today. Call us at 1-868-275-8359
or 1-868-288-1108.
And remember, your health is your wealth, and prevention is always better than medication.
Police, good day. Officer Best Price here. Johnny Q Auto Parts Division?
Yes, sir.
I'm here to investigate an assault on batteries.
Excuse me, sir?
Is it true you have batteries selling for $488?
Yes. Power Master, Optima, Vata, and Megastar batteries.
So I can buy a battery for $488?
Yes, sir. For cars, trucks, and boats. Backed and distributed by Massey Automotive.
Which part?
Right here at Johnny Q Hardware and Auto Parts Division, 15 Arrowbita Avenue, Woodbrook. And our new Johnny Q Superstore, located at Lowlands Mall off Claude Noel Highway in Tobago. You could call 63 Tools.
Alright, thanks boss. Nah man. Granny,
do you have $488 to lend me?
Hi, what's up, TNT? This is Wayne Johnson out of Brooklyn, New York. I always wanted to do something back home, and we're going to be doing our gospel segment on Mondays from 10 p.m. to 12 midnight. That's 10 p.m. to 12 midnight on 91.9 FM. Listen what I want you to do. Spread the word. Spread the word, TNT.
Salvation full and free. Salvation is for everybody.
Mondays from 10 p.m. to 12 midnight. That's 10 p.m. to 12 midnight on 91.9 FM.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
And welcome back. Thank you for staying locked to the Street 919 FM. Right. So if you're just joining us, we would have been discussing the issue of the UNC, one of their main spokesmen, the host of Dogalaya Politics, having an issue with a stated intention by the Minister of Agriculture that the government is inclined to continue the distribution of the food boxes even after the COVID pandemic would have subsided. But this is a party that always talks about, they're concerned about poor people and they're concerned about the needy in society. In fact, when I was coming, and if there is any doubt as to whether or not there is a need for this to continue, I was coming down just now. I was listening to the Catholic Archbishop. I think he was speaking on a program. I don't know if it was Mass or whatever. And he was mentioning that his organization, I don't know if it's Living Waters or if there's another one, that while they have seen a slight decline in the number of persons who are coming forward for food hampers, the numbers are still crazy. Now, his exact words, the numbers are still crazy, so that there is still a need. The government has indicated to the Minister of Health yesterday that the retail sector is due to open or reopen on the 16th of August, which would be next week, Monday, so that you're going to have a large cohort of persons going back out to work. We don't expect that, in the first day or the first week or so, that you're going to have that throng of people coming out to purchase, but you're going to have a lot of people who will be going back out to work, persons who would have been struggling over the last 3 months or so. The lotto booths are also due to reopen tomorrow, but you have people who have issues with that too. Wanting to know if the government wants to reopen the lotto booth so that people could come and gamble and spend the little money that they have. But we don't spare a thought for the fact that there are persons who are employed in this industry, not just the persons who own the lotto booths, but they have people who work for them, who run the booths, who manage the machines and so on. And these people work for minimum wage, some of them. And they too would have been out of work for a while, and would be happy to have heard that announcement yesterday because they can now also put food on their table. But as it's damned if you do, damned if you don't with this administration. It doesn't matter what they do, there will always be those persons out there who could twist anything that this government does and put a negative spin on it. Why? For the sake of politics. But 4 more years to go, so who don't like it, lay down close to it. Now all their problem, all their business. Last year, all of this time, so what we were hearing, sunlight will kill COVID-19 and sunlight will kill Rowley 2020. Yeah, but COVID's still around. It's 2021 and Dr. Rowley is still here. Can't say the same for the political fortunes of certain people. Where is the leader of the opposition, by the way? Is she in the country? I'm hearing rumors that she may have left the jurisdiction to go and do something that she didn't want to do here. I don't know. It's an allegation. It's a rumor, as I said. I heard others from that party too may have also done similar. I saw that she is now attacking the central bank governor, but we will deal with that during the course of the week. So you can feel free to call at 342-0081, 466-5391. I sincerely hope that both of our lines are working today. We usually get a little problem on a Sunday, but let's see. Hello,
Morning,
good afternoon.
Morning, Dominic.
Greetings.
How are you going, brother, man? Morning, brother.
Yes, sir.
And I just, we big sister must be cooking up so many kitchen, boy. Miss Felix, Miss Sharon Felix.
I'm sure we'll see the pictures just so, don't worry.
Yeah, don't worry, you can pass and collect, man. You know, you see, boy. Dominic, boy, you will expect this fella, I was say this fella, behavior. That is the fella dreadlocks beating him in the head. That is only getting butt. So he must behave that way. As the DJ fella dreadlocks hitting him in the head, beating him in the head. So you need balling like a cow. That is the butt. The butt of him getting on so. He's a honest you. Dominic, you see that Ernst & Young report? So all over was corruption, brother.
That's right.
And Ernst & Young don't miss. That is an auditing firm that don't miss, that is used by both governments. So we had a go to the letter there. All over was corruption. And Central ain't go see that because they only see the wrong in other people. They don't see the wrong in the community on their own. So he go find some way to dance around that and see if he could pin something on the PNM to say this, that, and the other. And you brought back some memories to me, Dominic, too. Where the UNC reside, because they get built out of RNZ, right? They're like a destitute. I think where they are now, all that money this past government play with. They don't have a home of their own to call the UNC. They don't have a home of their own to say somewhere down south, Dominic.
Yeah, they went to Cuba, now they're somewhere in south.
Yeah, they're pelling them like an old cardboard. You know, cardboard box after carnival. Dominic be blowing all over the place, the empty cardboard box, begging for lodging all over the place. The UNC's a dead party. But you know the sad thing, Dominic, to end? That them will always, the 18 crapo seats in yellow jerseys, they will always win that because their vote don't change. Dominic, listen, my brother. Morning.
Thank you, sir. Well, they need to send an SOS to the HDC and ask for a home. But we expect, I mean, when you could try to defend Central, I mean, calling this morning, or the line open, Central, call now, please. Tell us, what are your thoughts on Carney Green? I know you're probably not going to talk about it. You might try to tell me about something that the PNM spend money on, the rail or something, as is usually the case. I wouldn't expect anything different. Hello, good afternoon.
No, good afternoon, Dominic.
Greetings.
How are you? Yeah, man. Well, that is one reason I really can't take one listening to this nonsense of politics. And I still ask myself, why did UNC3 have this gentleman as a one of these spokespeople for the Olympics? And this is killing off a lot of people. But I want to correct the caller there about the 18 seats now. You have to take consideration there is about 6 marginal seats, right? Dominic? Hello?
Yeah, caller.
Yeah, there's about 6 marginal seats. So I would say that sometimes the UNC will hold on to the 15 stronghold, and at least the 3 other teams are forgot. That will be Point Up here, Satwa Barrett and Moruga Tableland, and what was again? Well, I could probably take shot 1 or 2 per se, but like I say, I'm looking at pretty Point Up here, Moruga Tableland, and San Juan Barrett because I think the PNM could still have a chance of getting those seats, right? But like I said, it is real disgusting listening to these people. And a question is asking, is Cameron Prasad the professor in the country?
That's the $1 million question.
Yeah, right? And I want to congratulate them because I hear they launched a new paper called the checklist. I don't know if you hear about it.
No, I haven't.
Just check it out. I think they're launching some new papers. Is a successor to the voice that I used to sell 5 years ago. Right, the Dominic, you have a good day.
You too, sir. Thank you. Let me see. Right. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, my brother Dominic.
Hey, Andrew.
Yes. Yeah, man. Why did really take place in Trinidad? In this Senate? You see the kind. I always get angry with Jacona, because Jacona said that because she's an Indian woman, only behaving so, and Jacona now seen what the Indian woman is capable of doing. He now seen that. Look at the man. This man disgrace. Is a disgrace to this country. That man, that senator is a disgrace to this country. He's here to me. I could have complete latching. He pick up and he go in Senate, thinking of the Senate. The man has no behavior. Is the $400 million? Neither he, neither Kamala Prasad could give a comfort, in the light spot, That have them getting on that in this sort of behavior. Why time the government should do something fast? Get more investigation into that now. It is like a year. It is 6 years now, coming to 6 years now. And let us get these people out of people's face. Other countries, they have them even locked up already. Why are we taking so long? Spend taxpayer money and get rid of these people. They have to answer to us. Hundreds of millions of dollars taxpayer money cannot be accounted for. And they're still in the Senate, still in the Parliament, talking in our face. Let us be real now. Let us be real and make it compulsory that the answer to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. What about Ramdin and Ramlogan? Those matters going on. I thought they said last month is also going. The media hiding that. And all the things that are straightened out in this country to get this country going forward. And I could never come out ready say she's going to bring him back into the Senate. And people doubt her. And you see she do it? That is the nastiness that woman have inside of she. Have a blessed day.
Thank you, Andrew. Yeah, well, I consider Anil Roberts' appointment to the Senate as a middle finger to every citizen in this country, not just those opposed to the PNM, to the UNC. Everybody, UNC people and all. Right? Because and as Andrew raised the issue of that 400 million live sport, I was listening to a program yesterday and I hear a man talking about, Anil Roberts was the best thing, the best thing to happen to sports in this country and so on, but even he was limited with the amount of money that he got and whatnot. Really? $400 million? You know what I could do for sport? 53 million of that went to catering. Sorry, 56 million. And one man got $34 million. He's now deceased. Say he's not giving it back. Almost 1/4 of the budget went for those two things. How many people could have benefited from that? $400 million wasn't enough? All right. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dominic. Good afternoon to Mr. Chance, Teresa Conliffe, Mammy Saws, Miss Cummins, Clement, Coco, Pearl in St. James, and Jennifer in Waterfield. Dominic,
yes, sir.
These people them are belly boy. To be opening their mouth and they know what the Auditor General has said, right? That they never give account for a lot of work they have done, bills that missing, and they still coming up on a podium and talking, boy. As Andrew said just now, they really need to do something with them investigation, to bring in some foreign people to because here's now Dominic, them can never win a next election, because what they do to Trinidad and Tobago, all the different ministry them create, and all different things them do underhand to steal the citizen money in Trinidad and Tobago. We will never forget them for that, because up to now they have not answered for what they have done, Dominic. You understand? And people, you know why people like the PNM government, we under crisis, but we getting good governance. We getting good governance, and we getting transparency and accountability, and we know how our money spending. You understand? And that's why Dr. Wally at the hem, and he will stay at the hem, because our good governance putting our name out there on good footing, Dominic. Not that every Monday morning he hears a different one in a different ministry, money going here, or who who is this and who is that, who acting prime minister, wanted a madness happen under the UNC government, right? Right now, Dominic, is the wicked opposition we ever had because they can't even combat the government with nothing. Government might make a little falter here, which part are reading the papers which try to talk about the lineup for the vaccine and the Prime Minister apologized. They can't even counter that. They can't even counter. They're so weak, Dominic, that we, the citizens, don't want them. We don't want them as no government again. You understand? You put in Anil Roberts to open him out, and up to now he can't answer about life sport yet. What happened with that $400 million going to go on there? And what happened in that? It had real corruption and one set of things happening inside there. And them coming to open their mouth to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, boy. All right, Dominic, listen to your program.
Thank you, sir. You know, Central on Tuesday made the point, everything the PNM put their hand to is politics. And I would say everything the UNC put their hand to is corruption. Because even their flagship project, which was the Children's Life Fund, that and all had fraud and bacchanal and couture in it too. Every little thing that involving money, they must thief. Again, I heard yesterday talking about all the things that Anil Roberts did. I heard about Hoop for Life. The bill for Hoop for Life was $12 million. The prize money for Hoop for Life was about $2.5 million. Where the rest of the money went? Just imagine, right? They spent over $2 million, Hoop for Life, to buy or to lease, vehicles for officials of the program to drive around the place for about a year, right? Over $2 million. When they came into office in 2010, there was a number of high-end vehicles that Mr. Manning and they had purchased for the CHOGM and the Summit of the Americas. Remember what they did when they came in? They said, oh, the PNM wastes a set of money on these vehicles and we are going to take back the people money. We're going to put all these vehicles up for auction. They gave a few of the Mazda 6s to the police and all of the SUVs, the Prados and stuff, they put it up for auction. For who? To benefit. Right? For who to benefit? And then now, after you do that, you had to come and spend over $2 million to go and rent the same high-end vehicles for persons affiliated, all of the dignitaries and the officials in the Hoop for Life program to drive around in style. That made sense. Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon, sir.
Dominic, what's going on now? This man had the courtesy to talk to people at Trinidad and Tobago and talk about who poor and who suffers. If they could replace back that money in life sport, you know how much people could have get so much things done off of that? And up to this day, this man never answered towards life sport. Never give no kind of information on life sport. But this is becoming a Kamala Dishesa and the UNC government to bring such a person back in the Senate, to come to talk to people in the Senate. But you know what has gone? Just like the pastor and the racist behavior. Because that pastor was practicing race behavior, you know, talking about the Indian lady. And when the Indian lady and all kinds of things, Trinidad and Tobago is not about Indian, African, Spanish. It's human being. And if we support our party, we support our party because we believe in what they are pushing. We don't look at race of people. If Dr. Rowley is doing something wrong, we will come out point blank and say he's doing something wrong. And to the people of Wassa, all they just complain every day about raise a salary, raise a this, raise a that. All they have to do is open a valve in Diego Martin by Bagatelle. And these and people are being getting water. When all they will come and open it, when people start to protest and misbehave and get on bad way, just open and give the people some water, only giving them water 3 days a week. Always give them. And for the couple of days now, the tanks empty, everything empty, the clothes dirty, and all they not doing all the work. But if government talk about privatizing, all they have a problem. We can't leave it up to the politician, all they have a job to do and all they need to do all the job. You understand? But Mr. Anil Roberts, you could have do your favor and stay where you want. Because the only place you're supposed to be in Trinidad and Tobago is in the jail. Have a blessed day.
Thank you, sir. Few of them well supposed to be in jail. What's going on with that investigation into Barry Padarath? With that $130 some odd thousand that he gave to Kamla, he put into Kamla Prasad Bisesa's credit card. That he couldn't remember what that money was for. You give $135,000 to the Prime Minister of the country and you can't remember what that's for? And we supposed to buy that? What's going on with that? What's going on with that investigation? It's been a year now since that was unearthed by this guy from CNC3. Still waiting. Hello, good afternoon.
Dominic, good afternoon.
Yes, sir.
Dominic, I have a question to ask you.
Yes, sir.
Dominic, you supported the PNM 2010.
Correct.
You get blows left, right, and center supporting the PNM. The PNM came in power. And then you see the PNM do certain things similar to the UNC. Dominic, what you're going to do? I listen off the ear, and I will leave it there.
Leave it there. Perhaps you would have been inclined to share with us what are these things that you see the PNM is doing similar to the UNC. Maybe if you elaborate a little bit on what exactly it is that you're talking about, we can have a conversation from there. All right? Hello, good afternoon.
A blessed afternoon to you, Dominic.
Good day, sir.
I wonder, this guy, where you come up from? How we jump out this kid just so? What is the similarity? What is the similarity? Like here in real life, we have an opposition drawing taxpayers' money under 40% and coming in Parliament and abusing parliamentary privilege. And we have to take that. Where is the similarity? Well, I want to tell that fella, it ain't going to be radio friendly. Like Iwer and them who come out of jackass thing. Locked on as usual. You have a safe and blessed restaurant. You think that you need him and them. The wicked and bad never loved this country. There was always on the money. The long money bad but afraid to. Time longer than time. You must deal with that. Locked on as usual. A gone thing.
Thank you, sir. And let me make this point. As I said before, we are just 2 days away from the 1-year anniversary of the PNM second consecutive victory at the polls. And what was interesting to me, because also last year, we were still in the throes of the campaigning and so on, right? The last day or two of campaigning. What was interesting to me was that for that entire campaign last year, the UNC, for the first time, as long as I can remember, in an election campaign, corruption was not the main issue that was being levied against the sitting administration. The UNC didn't talk corruption at all about this government in the last campaign, All they were talking about the government incompetent, how many people lost their jobs, 100,000 people lost their job, Petrochin shut down, and how many people lost their jobs because of that. That's what they were talking about. But all the allegations of corruption that they made from between 2015 to 2020, no talk about that. Why? Because they knew it went nowhere. It had absolutely no substance. None. So the focus was on incompetence, square peg and wrong hole, who don't know how to do their job, how many jobs lost, and the economy on the brink of collapse. That's all they were talking about. No talk about corruption. So when people want to compare the PNM and the UNC, and I keep making the point, if you all want to compare, let us compare 2015 to now to 2010 to 2015. It's Keith Rowley, Kamla Prasad Bisesa. Eric Williams dead long time, 40 years now, okay? 40 years. So we don't need to go back there. O'Halloran dead long time, Privat dead long time, whoever else, Kati, all of them, dead, long time. And if it is that we want to talk about UNC corruption, there is enough material to talk about between 2010 and 2015. We don't even need to go back to 95 to 2001, and there's a hell of a lot we could talk about for that period. But there's no need to go back there. But every bloody time that Ole had to talk about PNM corruption, you had to go back 40 years, 50 years to talk about O'Halloran and Privat and Gene Miles and all them kind of things. That tells you something. You're always talking about the PNM in power for longer than everybody else. But tell us about corruption of recent vintage. And I mean, not just corruption allegations. Talk thing with substance that you could point to. One minister, Marlene MacDonald, right? That was before Dr. Rowley. But I continue to make the point, between 2015 to now, how many ministers have been accused of bag of money being bag of money ministers? How many ministers have been accused of soliciting bribes from contractors? How many ministers have been accused of coming into office, couldn't afford two doubles and a soft drink, and today own 3 and 4 houses? How many? None. But that was the order of the day between 2010 and 2015. We were hearing that ad nauseum. Come now, man. Hello, good afternoon.
Very good afternoon again, Dominic.
Yes, sir.
Dominic, I knew a chauffeur driver for a minister in the last regime. He was only driving him around and he pointed at houses that he owned. I own that one, I own this one, I own that one. So, you see, there's no comparison, Dominic. There's none at all. You could compare this regime to the last regime. But Dominic, what you're doing and what you, Sharon, and Pastor Google is doing is Trinidadians have a funny way of forgetting Lord Valentino said. What it is people they are doing is trying to put us back into that same mess, wanting us to forget all what the ills that UNC did when they was last 6 years ago and try to slip in by default. But there's a whole 5 years of corruption. And this what you're trying to show the professor abroad and all the black intellectuals here, dear, because of their selfishness and their ego, is that, hey, not because it's something work out for you now, at this point in time, because you tell it you're brighter than all of we, that the bigger picture is, you want the PNM to do the same thing that we accuse the UNC of doing, with nepotism again, friend and family contract with no procurement, and the UNC comes back in. Then what? All fall down. And that is what Dominic is doing every week, and Sharon and Pastor Google is reminding people that, hey, here it's not about me and you. It's about we children and grandchildren and we family down the road. And not because you will get something now, you must take the whole thing and pull the whole organization down because of your ego, and then the UNC voter base that don't shift, that don't move, they slip back in the marginal seats because the black intellectuals turn off the urban black youth, and then what again? Corruption on check, just because you ain't get what you want. And this is what it's all about. And we have to keep it up. All the callers on this radio station, all the conscious people, all the unselfish people that know about just the self and the family and the ego. We had to see Dr. Rowley through this next 4 years into his retirement. And at the end of the day, God will bring us through. And we had to do it in a righteous way. Yes, Dominic, thanks.
Thank you very much, sir. Wow, is that thunder I'm hearing there? Andrew.
Yeah, brother. And now run to me. I just watch in the Philippine down there, Gulf City. In Gulf City, there's one big mansion down inside of there. No institution in this country could say who is the owner of that property. And nobody living in it there. One big mansion. And that is, I don't know if it's the police that investigate that or what institution they have in Trinidad shouldn't investigate that, because you must know who is the owner of the land. It must record. Your house must record on somebody's name. The mansion, not a house, a mansion. And that sit down there, and that comfort. Here in Trinidad, something wrong. I could have the right people to govern this country or something, you know. or the police is not doing the job or something so. Because in other countries, you will have to know who is the owner of that property. Who is the owner of that property? The mansion, I have it. Last election we shared all about the place, this big mansion. And up to now, we can't know who is the owner of that. Tongue and country, all of them supposed to know, all these institutions supposed to know who is the owner of the land, who is this, and it's so hard to get information about that. It's sickening in this country about these things, don't know. Have a blessed day.
Thank you, Andrew. And I am sure that we're going to continue to hear allegations and more revelations of things that took place between 2010 and 2015 that is yet to be unearthed. Hello, good afternoon.
Dominic.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. And Ralph Gonzalez, speedy recovery, and happy birthday to you also, Ralph. I know you wouldn't be able to enjoy, but you know, God will continue to shower you. Dominic.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what I want to hear. Sandy Grande Regional Corporation is the spotlight right now, Dominic. For the past 3 weeks, police like land peas in it. You heard me clearly, Dominic?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Right now, we're watching to see what is taking place. Here, I'm telling you about Grande Corporation. It's hot right now. It's hotter than Congo pepper. I hear recently when they left there, when they do come back there, the police and them, all the boots was only totally mud. You hear me? Let's see what's taking place. Dominic, you see Arnold Roberts? I didn't really study Arnold Roberts. And first of all, so I want to congratulate you. Everybody went to represent, the team that went to represent us, Dominic, Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes.
We are proud of them. Understand me? We are totally proud of them. Dominic, WASA workers. I was listening, I'm paying very close attention pertaining towards the daily rated workers and sick leave. Dominic, you know sick leave is a very serious thing, and you know that, right?
Yes, I do.
Dominic, I remember I had several problems with workers bringing in fraud sick leave to me. And when I did draw the officer's attention, no one seemed to care. You know what I had was to do? Go in to the ministry and sort it out, because you see, sick leave, Dominic, is a very serious thing, especially when you are the one, you understand me, who's signing up that sick leave form, Dominic. You understand me? You could have questions answered. But Dominic, you have a good one. Please get in the air, take place in Tobago, Dominic.
Yes.
Right. I'm still waiting. But Sandy Regional Corporation, our eyes on all you right now. Dominic, follow it up. Have a good afternoon, Dominic.
Thank you. Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon, Dominic.
Good afternoon, sir.
I mean, it is what they use, the distractors, and then when you undisputedly bring in facts about the mismanagement, corruption, nepotism, you name it, that we have seen for governance under the UNC. They try to change it, so leave it now. We always come with one thing, they never give anything, leave you confused. Now, that is what you do. Come and ask you some kind of crap about comparison and this thing and that. What comparison? They can't find nothing to substantial to talk about corruption under this administration. And unlike the other administration, when somebody do something, doctor already deal with it. Once the facts are there, you don't run on allegations and act on allegations. You find out the truth, where it is going, and get the proper information, and then he acts. Right? You don't give it back to the person to investigate themselves. For instance, like the former Attorney General and the former Minister of Works and Transport. With that with Honeywell and Stacey, with the flyover that taxpayers pay $250,000 less under this administration for. So you can imagine, I'm asking where the other $250,000 was going. And then when you see the kind of bull business with them, purchase they lease a helicopter outfitted for luxurious executive traveling, and then asking the question about this government to try to raise some sort of wrongdoing with it, when it is not appropriate for the Trinidad and Tobago use. In other words, what the Dr. you was saying is that it is not equipped for national security purpose. And to get it fit for national security purpose, it will cost a couple $1 million more to do that. And the helicopter is not our own. It's been leased by a company. And then when you also look at the contract between Trinidad and Tobago and the person who owns the helicopter, something wrong with that. Even the American justice system have issues with it, and they are now looking into how things was handled, and they'll do the government-to-government relating concerning that with our people here and what happened there and how it happened there, and that is being under investigation. So Mr. Mujilal is coming to put in the public domain that some sort of wrongdoing and hiding with the helicopter and all kind of nonsense. And it's far from the truth. What do you expect us to do with that helicopter? You want Dr. Rowley to what? To use it to fly from here to Tobago and from Port of Spain to Carnage with it to go home? Because apparently nobody could tell Trinidad and Tobago what was the helicopter purchased for, what, why, when, how. These are some of the questions that we need to answer. And it does not take the ruling government now to answer that. The former government who went into that arrangement needs to clear the air with Trinidad and Tobago. But as always, they have a lot of more things to answer to Trinidad and Tobago, which they never did. Right? And they keep hiding. The issues that face them and confronting us today, it always have something to do with the UNC, the past administration, and they keep talking about everything is the UNC. You all so all you stop talking about UNC. All you have to govern now. All you have to fix the problems. But when I question the government about things that are affecting me, UNC have questions to answer. So who is it to answer the question? But you're telling me to come and vote for you to come back here? Madness. Or they could never see the reins of power in this country again. If people just take you all on, they have to something that be wrong with them. You can imagine UNC under Kamala and them handling COVID in Trinidad and Tobago now. You can imagine the mess you was in. Sometimes when I sit back and I think and I hear people talk about Dr. Rowley and God put Dr. Rowley there for a reason or one thing. And when I look at that, how we handling the COVID and how much people dying with COVID all over the world and how we manage to keep our deaths down and our cases down. Imagine if you put Kamala Prasad Bissessa there with sunlight and punching and all this sort of nonsense they have been telling us. You can imagine what the mess would have been. It frightens me when I think about it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kola. Right, and I see birthday greetings going out to Melba Smith. So happy birthday, Melba. Trust that you have a very, very good one. Hello, good afternoon.
Hey, Dominic, sorry to call back.
No problem.
You know, this Mr. Leave it here. I don't know why you just leave us alone. Because you can never tell us that the government of the KNM and the government of the UNC is the same. We had ministers underneath the UNC fighting with that pit bull and giving them a black eye. Remember that?
Yeah.
We had a minister in the UNC beating up his friend in the car park. You remember that? And then we had Rice Fort who was so corrupted. Yes, and prison gate. It has to, boy, I could go down the road. There's so much misbehavior. We had in social development, we had all kind of girls and boy parties playing with one another. We had all kind of misbehavior by a prime minister going and kiss high person in India foot, bending down to go and kiss this woman's foot, and use a prime minister country. Yeah? And you come in to tell me, you don't get it from Dr. Rowley. You don't get this kind of misbehavior from Dr. Rowley. And if people know when she was living and she go for her friends them out, what she did back then to that young man who was working there. But that story never came out. When you intake certain substance, it does make you misbehave and misbehave very badly. Even when you used to be misbehaving, anybody know the history and the culture, Miss Kamala, the sister? That lady, who the pastor wants us to believe that she's so clean and she's so thing because she's an Indian woman. But we don't care if she's Indian or African. As a woman, you should respect yourself and respect will be given unto you. And this woman have no respect when she's speaking as a leader. And that is why she was this behavior by. And this man is coming to tell us that the PNM is no different from the UNC. The PNM just get a very hard hand to follow right now. It's like you were playing a pack of cards and you are all the jacks and I have all the S's. Who you think will win pool? I'll leave it there. Only for age of a man, you hear Dr. Rowley for some incident with Mr. Patrick Manning and Dr. Rowley. Everybody know went on back there, maybe two of them, and none of them wasn't correct because they had no right doing that to each other. As I see it as a young person, the both of them was wrong, and you keeping that in your heart, and trying to think, man, and trying to think. We are OPBs. We to guard our thing from drugs and guns and all these illegal things. We done put everything them. And because of fine thing on one of the OPDs, we get refused that, and our borderline is wide open. And you coming to tell us, stupidness as a age of a man, do us a favor and leave us alone now. Would the one from Long Circle, you know, his daughter used to be making cupcake. You could have taken one of them cupcake and put it and bust somebody here, Dominic. Bust it hard. The neighbors them up there say, if you had again a 50 year, they have a cupcake. And if the boss here, the next one from Tabakid, more than one people living in then don't talk about COP. Oh my God. COP is the next one by itself. Them selling super hard boy, and certain things you're not supposed to be in the soup. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir. Because the views expressed are not the views of the street. Well, the views expressed by the caller are not the views of the street. 919 FM, and it's management. I know what the cupcake. That's a new one for me. Hello, good afternoon.
Dominic.
Yes, sir.
I am warm like you give central thing to each other or you don't know it.
Well, I don't know how come you call.
Well, deal, I wait, I give him some breast milk myself. We could talk, but I get some breast milk, boy. I notice my boy from St. James talk about, but I notice he get like he getting that too, boy. When the boy from St. James talk about the big mouth man, what is, you understand me?
Yes.
But he's suffering from central gain but next intellect I was waiting for to call in because I hear him on a different frequency just a while ago. And I looking for him to call in too. Because he's the next he said he's a big old man.
Oh.
You want from Pinana? Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, the ethnic cleanser. I hear him calling it. I want to hear what he had to say. Yeah, these fellas, when I had them call, don't stay easy, because you came to that fella. Stop them short. You understand? I notice Pinana calling a while. He ain't calling a while.
Yes.
You understand? And I listen my next week and see it, but he ain't call your program at all. Think them easy? All right, Thomas, you take care. You understand what you want to tell about?
Remind me.
On a Tuesday night from 8 o'clock to 9:30.
Sadro and what is his guy named Tony?
Right.
Yes.
Yes, right. Right. They start on Tuesday and it's finish on Tuesday.
Yes.
And your boy King Riders be on that too. Well, be honest, since he get it blue, since he get it ethnic cleanser blue.
Yes.
I really, to be honest, I want to lie on the guy. I hardly really hear him on frequency. But I know he waited until August 31st or September 2nd or whatever thing when the FC tell he waited to come out to Roger and them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he planned it. But I really hardly hear him on frequencies and things. Since he get it extra clean and with the party.
Right.
Yeah, well then we let it start we can scrape them. You know, like you ever use a rake?
Yes.
Right, so you take out your rake and you start a rake key, you rake the next one who almost get flushed out too. The one they call GAT.
Yes, Mr. Christopher.
Start to rake them back in. You see, them fellas far from understanding. Miller and DC plan them is ethnic cleanser. They think they hate that's because of the PNM. Then hate Dr. Earl because Dr. Earl is African man. That is what going on. Don't put all your head in the sand. Is that what going on? That's what they hate. Look at Peanut. Listen to Peanut too. Eh? Look what all of these forefathers when Peanut saying. Eh? Forget about that. It's a forget about that and move on and what and he father this and his son this and who the hell wanted about your father and son? Yeah? You understand? Things what you read in book but ain't teaching and people in school. You understand? That is what people trying to enhance back and whatnot so that what the younger generation will learn and know something. All the teaching is about the white man. People come and talk garbage. Yeah? But forget about that and move on all kind of dotishness. Them sick at the boys. Them is ethnic cleanser boy.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
I don't know what the weather is looking like in other parts of the country, but I can tell you in Port of Spain, it is black outside. I mean, real dark. You would think it's probably 7 o'clock in the night. It's really, really terrible. So, folks in Marval and St. Anne's and so on,